Plenty of time on the shot clock. Long three goes down for Jabe.
Know their system well, they rotate well, and so they're poised to make a good run.
Three ball is
20 points for Barnheiser. Under a minute to go. Montana State looking for three. They want to tie it, and they do. Nelly. Montana State having a tougher time finding their shots now. The corner, some athletic balance to keep it in bounds from McMahon. Go cross court again. The pump fake from Mullins leads to a three. Little stretch. Mullins, so sneaky. The feed out to the corner leads to another three.
As Harton's back in the game, and there's a steal. Jabe Mullins trying to outrun his man.
Look a lot, kicks it, corner, Patterson again. Patterson!
Oh!
Patterson with the three.
Say my name. Good Lord, Patterson. Yes.
He took Mount Side to the state title, and now in his homecoming, he's lighting up the Red Hawk Center. 68-67.
Post tonight. Both times he's caught it down there. Sent a guy down to help.
Nice spin move by Patterson. He hits.
All right. Welcome to episode 4 here of Grow Sports Talks. We got two lovely guests today, joined by the Snoqualmie Snipers, Mr. Jabe Mullins and Tyler Patterson. How are we doing this fine morning?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing great, doing great. Obviously, I'm here with my man Blake. And, let's say we get straight down to business here after obviously a crazy night last night with some comeback madness between Texas Tech and Arkansas. Arkansas could not pull it out, but, we'll leave that to Coach Calipari over there to deal with that in the locker room. But so let's say, what do you want to get to the first question here, Blake?
Yep. We'll start off with some questions for the Montana State Hoopers, and then we'll close it out with some March Madness. But we'll ask both of these to both our guests here, former Mount Si Wildcats. Then Jabe with 3 colleges. He went to St. Mary's, Washington State, and then Montana State, where he teamed up with Tyler Patterson, who was there for 5 years. What was the favorite part of your guys' career?
You want me to go first? My favorite part, probably it had to be going to the tournament the first time. I'd say we made it to the tournament championship my first year during COVID, and then the next year got right back and were able to complete the task, which was huge, and it was great. First time doing it doesn't feel better than the first time, and so that was amazing to get to accomplish that. Got 14 up in the conference championship to secure the spot in the tournament.
Yeah, mine would probably be at St. Mary's being like a 5 seed in the tournament. I thought that was pretty cool. We had a good season, beat Gonzaga when they're number 1 at home, and then we just had a good seed, got a win in March Madness, and that's probably my favorite.
Very cool that both you guys got to experience March Madness.
Crazy.
I mean, not many people do get to experience that.
Yeah,
as
I
a
would
player.
say not many people get to experience it as a player or even as a fan just watching it. I get to just sit on my ass and watch it all day. So that works for me over here. But so you guys have been teammates basically now, like you guys linked up at Montana State for kind of, so basically like growing up, just being teammates throughout your whole life. How cool is it to like link up and kind of play with each other on every level, like from AAU all the way to college?
Yeah, it's been super special, especially, since it's been going on for so long, since like 3rd, 4th grade. So it's really cool. Not a lot of people get that, get to have that connection with someone throughout high school, let alone being able to link up in college. So it's been, it's been awesome.
Yeah, it was cool too. Like just seeing each other in different places in our career. Like in 3rd grade or whatever, he was playing the power forward, I was playing the center.
Yeah.
And now like we're guards now. And so it's just super cool to see him and like see ourselves just kind of grow and get better. Just been through every stage of life together.
Yeah.
Were you the center, Jabe?
I was.
I would pay to see that. I really would. So you got the post moves? Is that where you got the post moves from?
Dude, I didn't have post moves, bro. I just set screens.
There you go.
Hey, anything works.
Yep. Moving on to the next one here. What would you say, if you can think of in your whole guy's career, like the most memorable shot that you've made or the game that you guys have ever played? Besides, obviously, maybe March Madness, but do you guys have like a memorable shot that you guys have hit throughout your career?
I kind of have two. I hit a game winner down in Hawaii, which was cool. That was like my only game winner.
Ooh, down in Hawaii.
My other one was we were beating Arizona at Arizona, and it was like sold out. It's my favorite game I ever played in, and I hit like a step back three, like to beat the shot clock buzzer to go up like 15 or something like that. So that was good. That was probably my favorite shot.
Yeah, I'd say for me, I'd say one of my favorites was probably. I'm trying to remember what game it was. I'd say it had to be the Sac State game we played in this year because I needed 1-3 to pass to become second all time in threes made here, and I also needed one point for 1,000, and then I ended up hitting 8 that game, so I took care of both of those. So
damn!
I was watching that game. That was a heck of a game.
Yeah, no. So that was.
So do you know that record going into the game? Are you aware of that?
Yeah. Dude, my dad was. We were because we played Portland State the game before. And I know I needed only like 9 to get to 1,000, and they counted one of my threes as a 2, and so I was like 1 point off. My dad was pissed.
You're not happy,
dude. I can't believe I'm gonna miss it, bro. I was like, dude, you're good. We really got it.
And then you're gonna get like injured or something and not get it.
He was like, dude, I have to be there, but it was cool.
No, that's very cool. Then another question we got for you guys. I know Jabe and Tyler. I've helped you guys in a few shoot-arounds, but for our viewers, a question from my cousin. If you were to go to the gym to shoot around, what is your routine? And does that differ on a game day or just if you're going in the off-season?
Yeah, well, it definitely differs like during season and off-season. So off-season, my kind of routine was I get in the morning and kind of do like some finishing, like ball screen work, like floaters, finishes, like dribble moves kind of thing. And then I come back at night and usually shoot. And it just kind of looks like a bunch of mid-range, bunch of stationary threes and kind of on the move threes and just kind of shots you're going to get in the game. But I like to break it up into like more of an intense, like dribbling and finishing, like ball screen workout in the morning. And then at night, come back and just do some shooting.
Yeah. And then I'd say like during the shoot arounds and stuff, like I'd always get like a workout in like 20, 30 minutes before our shoot around, just like a quick one just to get a bunch of rep shots. Just so that'd be my like game day shooting routine. Just get in, get like 200 shots up and before the shoot around, then have shoot around and then be ready to go for the game.
I was going to ask, there a certain amount of shots you guys take, or is it just off field?
Usually it's for makes, but
there you go.
Or like a time drill or something. But yeah, usually not counting the misses, but usually trying to get makes in. But
I got you.
Another question I had too, just off the dome. I've always wondered what it's like the transition from obviously you guys went to Mount Si, so the competition actually like in Kinko. Obviously I went to Inglemoor myself, and we weren't the best, but at anything, but that's all right. But like you guys still played some pretty good schools. Obviously you guys made it to state and like that tournament. That's probably where you played the most talent. But what's the transition like from playing at Mount Si to like playing in front of like a college and a college school and an atmosphere like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll answer it first and then you can answer because he was at, a higher level and stuff. But like for me, the transition was mostly physical for like, at least for like my position. Cause like for me, all I have to, really do is just kind of shoot the ball. So like, that's not like a skill, I get better and, you can just grab it and shoot it. So like for me defensively, physicality was like the biggest stepping stone. But, luckily for me, I was thrown in the fire pretty early. So kind of figured that out and then went from there.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely physicality. And like, I remember like coming in and I see this bald dude who's like 23, 24. Like, oh, like this dude probably slow, like whatever. And like, he was just cooking and super quick, super fast. I was like, what the heck? So just like, I'm 18 going against a 23, 24-year-old. That was a big difference. And then just like passes that you make that would lead to layups or like open shots, they just aren't layups or open shots just because people are bigger, faster, better athletes. So I'd say that was the main thing.
Yeah, because in high school you could kind of get a shot whenever you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
As a watcher myself, front row, you guys were getting shots whenever.
Yeah. And then you.
And how about that matchup against Dylan Darling?
Dude,
3 times in the same season, and Jabe played with him. You
Crazy.
played against him in high school in the state final. Then Jabe plays with him at Washington State, and then you play against him. Did you have his? Did you guys know his tricks? Did you help the coaches out, or did you just let them do the scouting on that?
Dude, I tried to. I don't know, because like we would play 1-on-1 like every day during the summer. So I kind of knew what was coming, because what he was doing this year was what he was doing in open gyms and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So I was really happy for him. It was cool to see him.
Not many people knew how good he was on offense at Washington State because he was mainly a defensive guy. Then he goes to Idaho State and he was scoring the rock.
Crazy.
But that kind of leads me into the next question. Jabe, you played in multiple offenses. How often are you guys running plays during a game? As a watcher myself, I don't know too much about plays in basketball, but like, does it differ per coach how many plays you're running, or like the type of game it is, or kind of get into that?
I would say it differs, at least from the schools I played with. Like St. Mary's, you're not going to do any transition. You're just going to walk the ball up the floor and run a play basically every time. Washington State, we kind of just had a flow offense. We had a couple set plays, but usually you're just kind of in like a flow offense that we would do. And, you're going into a drag and then kind of playing from there. And then Montana State, I would say we had like a big flow offense, but we would also come down and run plays too.
And is there a certain time in the game that it's like you're guaranteed going to run a play every time if it's close, if that makes sense? Like 5 minutes left, you guys running a play more often than not?
Yeah, I think I'd say it's more of like a instead of like a play, it's more of a what's like a concept. Yeah. So like we'll have like the only written part, like of a play, you got like, written parts like you got to go screen here or whatever. But in our concepts, it's more like you throw it to, like the only scripted part is I'm throwing it to the big at the elbow. But after that, like we're just screening for each other, kind of cutting off of each other. So like
just getting open.
Yeah. So you could say it's like a play, but it's like a concept with reads. And so we're just kind of making those reads once we get it to the spot we want it to get to. But yeah,
I think a lot of people enjoy the answers to that question, because I watch basketball a lot, but I don't know when you guys are running plays or when you're not. But it seems like at the end of a half or like off a timeout, you're definitely running a play.
Yeah, I mean, we do have quick hitters and stuff when we need buckets. Especially, a lot of coaches these days love doing out of timeout, plays for quick buckets and stuff like that. But yeah,
I do have one more question, kind of referring to that before we get to March Madness. So if someone makes a bucket and you're down 1 or 2, do you, as a player, do you want the coach to call a timeout with like 7 seconds left? Because last night Calipari did not call one with 7 seconds left. They were down 2, and he said, "We're giving it to DJ Wagner," and DJ Wagner said, "I don't know how to dribble. I don't know how to dribble," and then he shoots, misses, and starts crying.
Yeah, I think that's a super tough spot. I am more towards the leaning towards just let it whatever's going to happen, let it happen. Now, I think like if it's situational, if Arkansas has, say they hadn't scored in 4 minutes and it's like, dude, we're not getting anything offensively, then I think you probably call a timeout. But if they're, flowing through the game and things are happening, it's actually hilarious, bro. This makes me, in 8th grade or something, remember when my dad called that timeout and you hit a shot? Oh, yeah, I'll never forget this because we were playing in like Fort Lynch AAU game and my dad was coaching. And dude, yes, bro, it was crazy. Yeah.
Were we pissed about the timeout or happy about the timeout?
Pissed. All right. But my dad was like called the timeout right before he left his hands and all that. And so I would like let him play it out unless you need a bucket and you're like, nothing's been happening for a couple minutes. But
yeah.
Well, let's hope he enjoys this podcast, or he's not going to be too happy with that answer for you guys.
I think it depends on your personnel too. Like if you have dudes that I think it kind of depends on the personnel you have. Like if you have dudes that need a play run for them, or if you have guys that can kind of like Arkansas, they just got a bunch of athletes, so I feel like you just gotta let them play and get some.
And a quick shout out to your roommate. It does show that student athletes do actually go to class for those wondering.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Probably go to more class than I do at this point. Jesus.
Not supposed to mention that on the air, but we'll jump into March Madness here. It's been quite the 3 games. I mean, well, 3 days of games. Last night I was not expecting Florida or what was that second game? Or Florida and Bama to both blow out BYU and Maryland.
Were it? Dude, come on now. Maryland barely got to that game.
Yeah.
That is true.
Florida looked great. As well as, but yeah, obviously that Arkansas game was nuts, dude. I could not believe that they were up like 15 like the whole game, I swear to God. And then all of a sudden I was watching the Mariners game and I keep checking and I'm like, oh shit, they're like down like 6 and then 3. And then the guy hits the 3 with like 7 seconds. And then, like we said, Calipari just lets them play. But in that situation, like, honestly, I could see where you're coming from, where it's like, don't call the timeout. There's no need. Like, it's a tie game. Like, unless I feel like if you're down, maybe call a timeout. But if it's a tie game, let them just play. Like, let them run down the court, try to make a shot, hit the game winner, get the atmosphere. And, like, I feel like that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't want the defense to also get a timeout and be able to set up for whatever play they think you're going to run.
Yeah. No, that is half the battle, is especially if they're a good defensive team and, especially out of timeouts, those are sometimes tough to get buckets off of.
And also just getting the ball in against certain teams. They'll have a big man on the ball or something. But were you guys I don't know how much you were able to watch. Were you guys surprised with any of the upsets in the first and second round of the tournament?
I don't know. I filled out a bracket. I only had like 4 wrong picks in the first round, so I can't say I was too surprised.
Okay. All right.
But like at the same time, I feel like there wasn't a ton. In terms of like the last couple of years, there's been some crazy ones.
I think it was just McNeese.
Yeah.
And then
Colorado State.
Yep.
Beat it. I did have Colorado State as well, but
I had both of them, and then I had my brother's team at UCSD. I had them beating Michigan.
I also had them as well.
I was hoping they won. I was spotting Quinn out there.
Dude, they were close, man. If they didn't start off in that hole, they would have probably had it.
Yeah, they started off. Yeah.
Is that guy's name Maguy?
Yeah, Tyler Maguy.
That guy is insane.
Dude,
I watched him a few games, and I'm just like, how is he making these?
Dude, unreal bucket getter.
Shout out to, is it Tyler Maguy?
Yep.
Shout out. We know he's watching down at San Diego. A question for you. As last week or this Monday, the transfer portal opened, there were a lot of questions on should the transfer portal be open during the tournament, as many of these coaches weren't even able to consult their players to see if they're staying, and many saying they're leaving. Should that be should the transfer portal open after the season, in your opinion?
I don't know. I think that's a tough one because, like, I saw a clip yesterday of someone talking about it. I'm trying to remember who it was. I thought it was like a coach. Oh, it was Bruce Pearl, I think, was saying something about it. And he was on the committee for finding out when it opens or trying to, schedule when it opens. And I think his reasoning was that it's after the Sweet 16 when it opens or before?
I think it's right before. I think it was Monday.
Like, after the round of 32, like basically everyone except 16 teams are done. So like,
yeah, for
them to have to wait until the Final Four is over is tougher. Puts them in a tougher spot. But you could also argue like you said, like guys are just game's over and they're already in the portal 13 minutes later. So it's like, tough spot.
And I don't know if you saw the Maryland coach. I think there were rumors he was going to Villanova.
Yeah,
and they were booing him before the game.
Crazy.
So I don't know. That's kind of on the coach. He was saying he wasn't going, but if he does end up going, he's definitely gonna get boos around the country just for the lack of staying with one team. I mean, you got to stay with your team in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no, it is crazy, and it's gonna be interesting these next couple of years with like portal and NIL, kind of what they do in terms of. I mean, whatever they do, just capping it, whatever they do. It's going to be crazy.
I was going to ask, is NIL ruining sports? I don't want to say ruining, but like, I feel like there's not going to be as many upsets unless these smaller schools are going to
develop guys,
load up on seniors and then all the experience they'll have to rely on, because you're not going to out-talent the SEC schools, the Big Ten schools anymore, because they can pay whoever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, obviously for getting players getting paid and all that, but it definitely is kind of, making some egos a little bigger than they probably should be and stuff like that. But
no, I do agree. I think you guys should get paid, but I mean, it's kind of, they should cap it somewhere where it's a little bit equal. I mean, obviously SEC and Big Ten they'll have an advantage. You shouldn't be able to cap how much money they get, but that every player is chasing the money, not the coaching anymore.
No, exactly. And it's every year it's basically restarting. Like everyone's just getting out. It's a clean slate. I mean, we got like 3 dudes right now that are staying. So it's like,
I want to say 1,000 players entered the portal this week.
It's insane.
Already? Holy shit.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's going to hurt like high school guys. I mean, like some coaches are just like, they're not even going to recruit high school guys anymore just because.
Yeah.
That was my next question. I was going to ask, so are these big schools even going to recruit high school guys? Maybe 1 5-star just to.
Yeah.
Because was it Carter Bryant at Arizona? He was a high school guy, but the rest, he didn't even start either, but he's a great player and NBA prospect.
Yeah, it's crazy. I honestly, yeah. What do you think?
I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I think they could do like contracts, to be honest. I think like a 2-year contract would be cool. Like, so guys just aren't hopping around from school to school after each year. But
yeah, as someone who transferred himself, but
yeah.
No, but you got the benefit.
Coach
I was gonna say, Coach Smith did.
For high school, I think I don't know. I think like the top guys will get recruited, but I mean, even the lower level guys, they're not getting recruited until like June or July, August, because the coaches are banking on transfers, and then when they don't get a couple of transfers, then they have to go to high school, and then you're already like bottom of the totem pole.
And then it just, I mean, then the next answer is probably go JUCO and get those years back, but then you got dudes, 26 playing college, and it's like, is that what we want? I don't know. So it's like crazy.
I mean, that Auburn fucking Baker Mazzara's what was he 26?
I don't know what he is, but apparently he's got another year or something.
Another year too, still? Holy shit.
We were saying that. They were like, he's got a chance if he wants to pursue it to come back. And I was like, no way.
Well, we better make this year count then. God. Yeah. I mean, they got a team over there. So
no, they do.
We were talking about this off the air, but quick for our viewers, who do you guys think is going to win the tournament at this point?
I had Duke.
Yeah, I think I have Duke too.
Boring. Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I got them in Florida. Those are my 2.
Yeah, that's my bracket. I got Florida.
I agree.
The finals.
I was able to see
Walter Clayton can shoot that fucking rock like he's been shooting it, dude. I was watching that game versus who they just beat? Not Maryland. The game before.
UConn.
Yeah, UConn. Dude, UConn was playing out of their minds, and then Walter Clayton just hits these 2-step back threes, and I'm like, I was like, oh my god, you talk about getting a bucket. That guy can just go get it, like
for sure.
But yeah,
we're asking some of these questions on the fly, but what are the crowds like at a March Madness game? Is it like? Is it usually split up? I was able to go to one, and it seemed like it was all Florida. And then the Oklahoma-UConn game after, I feel like half the fans were still Florida fans. So I don't know if that was the same for your experience.
Yeah, well, for us, since we were like a lower seed, it was actually pretty cool because, like, obviously we're playing. It would be a big upset if we won. So you got like last year we played. Or no, the year before that we were playing Kansas State, and Kentucky was the other team in the in our side. So and we were keeping it semi close within throughout the game. And so if you keep it within 10 with like 12 to go, then like the whole arena is going to start rooting for you because they want that upset. And then like we got Kentucky guys rooting for us, so it turns into kind of like a home crowd for the opposing for the lower seed if you're able to keep it close. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a super cool environment.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say, I just have a memory last year we were playing in Omaha, and we're playing Drake and then Iowa State, and it was like those are a couple hours away. Omaha's a
Yeah.
couple hours away from that, so it was like a home game for them. So I guess it kind of depends on the location, but also there was this like people in the stands that were like, "Hey, grab me a March Madness towel and like we'll cheer for you."
That's great.
Like trying to get towels and like gear, and then they'll be like, "We'll cheer for you," and like be loud and stuff. So it's kind of funny.
Kind of a disadvantage for Washington State. Shout out. But you guys had to play Drake, who was in Iowa, and then you had to play Iowa State. It's like,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
at least give you guys a little bit of 50-50 crowd. That was probably a 80-20 crowd, but on TV they showed the few Washington State fans, so I don't know how many were actually there.
Dude, it was like a tiny half section, and
Yep.
the arena was like everyone else.
But they make it seem like there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes those little crowds are just all you want. You're like, all right, I'm trying to like prove these guys like, drive them down. Like you hit a dagger, you're like, yep. And then you
That's the best feeling.
I feel like you look at all of them, you're like, you just kind of give them the stare, and you're like, shit. See ya.
Yeah.
And then a question I had off the top of my head, I just thought about it. Who's the toughest guy you've ever had to guard for both you guys? I know you guys have both played in many different games.
For me, I mean,
It's got to think in the memory bank here.
Played
for 5 years.
In terms of college, I'd say probably Dalton Connect.
DK.
Did you play? Where was he at when he played?
He North Colorado for 2 years, so I played him 2 years. But I mean, he averaged like 22 when he was in our league, but he never really did a ton against us. I don't think he really got in double figures, but just the awareness we had of him, and urgency. He had the ball was kind of pretty. It was pretty high, but I'm trying to think of anyone else. There's a couple dudes that we played Colorado, or actually we played Donovan Dent, New Mexico. We played they had who's that guard? That was their last Jalen House, and they had Jamal Mashburn. So they had 3 dudes that averaged like 15 when we played them at the pit. So that was a pretty cool environment too.
They've always had a sneaky good team.
Dude,
is it New Mexico or New Mexico State? New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah.
I think Dent just entered the portal. But Jabe, did you ever have to guard Caleb Love when he was at Arizona?
Yeah, I guarded him a few years. I don't know. I think the hardest guard to guard was Andrew Nemhard at Gonzaga. He was tough.
I forgot you had to guard. Yeah, that was crazy.
Ball screens, and like he's just so good in transition and just like really crafty, good passer. So,
dude, both of them play so similar. I feel like him and his brother. Like I think Ryan's got a cup, maybe one more year, or is he out of here? Probably a couple more years.
I think he's a senior.
Okay. But dude, if I'm watching them play, it's like, I mean, one, they fucking look almost identical, like, but also on the court, like, it's like, dude, I could never tell the difference. The way they play, at least the game, it's like they're always getting ball screens. They're always. I feel like both of them are pass first mentality as well. They're all like, obviously they can hit the 3 or drive and hit a floater, but it's like they're looking for the next guy to get open, and it's like, dude, those guys I feel like are tough to guard.
Yeah.
Adding on to that, do you think Ryan Nemhard will go to the NBA, and do you think Caleb Love will go to the NBA? Because Caleb Love had a great postseason here for Arizona, but for some reason, I don't know why he hasn't gone to the NBA draft yet.
I don't think either of them. They'll have a shot, but I don't think either of them will stay. I think they'll be in the G League or go overseas. Personally.
Yeah, we'll DM this footage to Caleb Love just to prove the haters wrong.
Caleb Love.
Why is that? Just a quick opinion.
I think Ryan's too small and he can't shoot well enough.
Yeah.
And like he'll just get abused on defense. And then I would say Caleb Love, he's just not very efficient.
Yeah.
And he's not a scorer that the NBA needs. Like there's a million of those guys. So many scorers in the NBA. They don't need another one of him, and he's going to be inefficient anyways.
And he doesn't. It's not like he's like locking up.
Yeah,
crazy.
he's
he
not.
doesn't. It's just scoring for him, and it's like they got guys that can do that anywhere. So
no, that's great to get your opinions.
You never know. I mean,
they'll have a shot.
Yeah, they'll have a shot, no question.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely Nemhard with the height, because that's always tough, because there's gonna be someone just as good a passer as him that's probably 5 inches taller.
Yep.
But no, great to get your opinions on that, because I don't know too much basketball, but when you see a guy thrive like that in college, you're like, all right, he could go to the NBA, and maybe be good. Not like as good as he is in college, obviously, but
Yeah.
no, definitely interesting to hear your thoughts on that. We got a final question for you guys, unless Evan got one on the fly here. But how do you differentiate your strategy from a regular season game to a tournament game due to the limited preparation time? Because I know you guys had not even a day in between games at the Big Sky tournament. So how does the preparation differ?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly a lot different. I mean, we'll still get a walkthrough in where we kind of walk through their plays and stuff. But obviously, like you said, it's a quick turnaround, so you don't have like that time to go over personnel and like, you know, really lock in on it. But usually at that point in the year, you know, you're pretty familiar with the other teams and what they do, and like who their guys are and what their guys do. So it really just comes down to like just straight hooping and you know, kind of feel thing. But it is a lot different in terms of like we would watch a lot more film than we would, just because so we can at least get familiar with it somehow. Because usually, you know, we like to get on the court and you know, get our reps in that way. But with not being able to do that, usually just watch a lot more film.
For sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, so that sums it up.
Yeah,
I got another just from based off that. Like, would you guys say that if you guys were hot, say in one game, obviously, like in the tournament, like does it help kind of in a way like that you guys play the next day or like super fast? You're like, yeah, I'm feeling my shot right now. Like instead of taking, you know, like a 5-day break where it's just practice shots, you're like, I just played a game yesterday. Like I'm still hot. Like give me the ball. Like I'm still feeling it.
Yeah, I would say it definitely helps.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Even during the season, you have a good game on Thursday, and then like Saturday comes around, you're like, okay, I'm ready to play. Like, should be good. Or I shot a good last game. I should be good this game. So I would definitely say that helps.
Yeah, I'd say it's big time, especially in terms of momentum and for like teams that like for us last year, we were a 5 seed and you know we needed all the momentum we could get, and so we were generating it at the right time. And with those short back-to-backs, it's super easy to carry momentum on. And so you know the less time you have to kind of sit around and wait for that momentum to kind of distill, it really, you know, can pick up and build speed.
Totally. Well, Blake, you got any more questions for the boys over there?
I think that is it. We really appreciate your time. Not many people get to pick the minds of some D1 college basketball hoopers, great players at that.
Dude, thanks for having
me. We have Jabe Mullins.
Appreciate you guys having us on. It was fun to talk ball with you guys.
Yeah, no, great. And we appreciate the support throughout the careers, man. Appreciate it, man.
And
yeah, dude.
Number 11, Tyler Patterson.
Dude,
shout out to Tom McDonald. You guys can send that to him.
Tom, man.
You got to send that to Tom.
Dude, I got it. He texts me periodically, dude. He's hilarious.
I was thinking that. I'm like, we got to end this out on a bang.
Dude, that's hilarious.
No, but seriously, we appreciate it. And we wish you guys luck with the next step of your careers.
Thank you, man.
Whether that's in the workforce or still playing basketball. Yeah. But that decision is yet to be made. And we'll let everyone.
We're excited to watch your podcast grow, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. It's going to grow drastically with you two being on this.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate it.